Hey everybody, Richie Yip here of Infighting Training Centers. Today with me I have Matt Kwan. He is going to show us some really cool jiu-jitsu techniques. Take it away, Matt.
Yeah, so basically this is a Brabo or a Darce Choke from the bottom side control. Your guard has been passed and you're in a bad position and you're just looking for maybe surprising your opponent with a submission as opposed to re-guarding, catching them off guard. So I'm in bottom side control here. Now what I'm looking for basically is for Richie's arm to be exactly the way it is right now. Preferably I'd have this frame, but I want his elbow to be on the mat, okay? Normally when we re-guard, this hand comes in here and I start to create my frame and make space. But in this case, I want to just cup his shoulder. And when I show this technique sometimes to people, they tend to do this. They grab inside because they think that the tighter grip is better. In fact, it's more of like a tell. So I just like to rest on top here, and I don't really want my opponent to know that I am going to be chambering this arm, and that's really what I'm doing, is just chambering it. So essentially I like to explain it like I'm a mechanic sliding underneath a car, okay? If he's got a cross face on me here, I want to obviously defend this. That's pretty paramount, okay? And when I go here, I'm going to just make sure that this arm is on this side of my hip. So that when I'm ready to do the technique, I'm going to go underneath, leading with this hand. Usually I give him a little bit of a bridge just to create a little bit of space, but I'm also pinching my elbow so that his arm doesn't escape. As I come underneath here, I'm going to slide underneath and cup his armpit. So once I get to this point, I feel pretty confident with the technique. Richie, can you posture up here?
You're really heavy. I don't know if I can.
So this is a point where if I did happen to lose my technique here and he does posture, I'm going to come out and look to re-guard. And that's my victory right there. Okay? If I can re-guard, that's better than, you know, him just smashing me again. So I'm here. I'm going to give him a bit of a bump. Slide underneath and grab his far armpit. And now when I'm here, it's a little bit of a switch that relies on some speed, but again, I'm pulling him down on this far armpit, and I'm going to switch my arm here. Once I get to this point, I just keep this control, and then to wrap the arm, I'm just going to walk in a circle and lock up the Darce. I can finish from here most time, but usually it'll take my opponent to the side, and I just finish the Darce Choke.
Well, that's really surprising, that. That's really cool. Do it from a different angle? Sure. Okay. So, right here? Yeah.
So just start this out by saying from a different angle.
Oh, okay.
No. You can even be there, just pop your head out so I can see so you make eye contact with the camera. Like, start in that position.
Right here?
Yeah.
Can you see me from here?
Yeah, no. If you can't see me, I can't see you. Sure.
What about this?
That might work.
You can see me here. So I'm just going to show this technique from a different angle. Holding him really close here, keeping this arm chambered, but I'm not grabbing anything or trying to reach for anything too deep, just pinching in with my elbow against my own ribs. So I'm just going to initiate, get a little bit of a reaction by giving him a bump and creating some space underneath his abdomen. As I bump, I come here, I'm hanging off of him at this point essentially, and his elbow is still on the floor, which is really important. Then I'm going to make my switch. And right now I'm pretty much just bear hugging Richie, okay? And I don't want his elbow to come off the floor. As I walk through, my head pops out and he becomes trapped. I tighten up my Darce Choke, and then I just continue to walk into him and finish.
Wow, that's awesome. A really powerful choke. That's great.
There's also Also, if I'm here and my opponent decides that he wants to control my opposite hip with his hand by putting his other hand under here, this choke is not in the picture anymore. So I won't go for this choke unless he has this type of side control. So I'm here, give him a bit of a bump underneath.
I think you have to talk a little bit about how to finish it. Like, we can cut it in.
Sure.
Just say, you know, maybe like turn so that you're both facing Like
Okay.
both legs are here, and talk about running them down. Essentially, you're running them
I'm
down.
doing like the Homer Simpson, essentially.
Yeah, okay,
is what I'm
perfect.
doing.
So yeah, just
okay.
use that phrase. Say, I'm doing the Homer Simpson.
All right. You're just talking about finishing the dorsal.
Yeah.
Or I'll just do the whole technique again.
You can if you want.
Sure. So Richie's on top of me in side control. Okay. First things first is that I have to create a frame so that I'm not getting cross-faced, and I need his elbow on this side of my hip as opposed to the opposite side. And preferably I want it on the ground, and I'm chambering it with my elbow, and my hand is just resting on his shoulder. I'm not grabbing his gi or trying to give him any signals. I'm just holding there and playing possum a little bit. So I'm gonna bridge into my opponent, create the space to shoot my hand underneath, and I reach for his far lat. Once I'm here, I'm gonna make the switch. My hand's gonna come to the other side of his head. Here, I can cup the back of his neck sometimes, but I like to go nice and deep. And then I'm gonna start to do the Homer Simpson, just walking with my body. And now my head naturally will escape. Once I see my hand, I can lock up the Brabo Choke. And as I walk through, I'm just walking my feet into him. I'm not reaching over with my leg trying to grab him. I can finish it just by walking. And I'm just compressing, constricting my arms and giving him a hug basically, right here.
So if you enjoyed that technique and if you want to get started on your journey with BJJ, then put your name and your email over here and on the form towards your right, and it starts off with a free private with Matt, and then you can start your 30-day free trial right away.